Welcome into Real Kipper and Bourne. I am Justin Bourne. We are live on Sportsnet 590 and the Fan Sportsnet 360 and Sportsnet Plus. I am joined today. No Nick Kiprios. He is somewhere, I don't know, Washington or something. Does that sound right? So I'm joined today by the host of the JD Bunkus podcast, JD Bunkus himself. Bunk, how are you, my friend? Hey.
Sure got a lot more handsome, didn't it?
And, of course, as always with us, my man, Sammy McKee. Good day, Sammy. Hello.
Hey, buddy. I don't wear glasses on TV very often. I forgot that I was wearing them. I got to the subway. I was like, crap, I didn't put my contacts
Those are
in.
really nice glasses,
Thanks, man.
though.
Did you just get a haircut too?
No.
That's not new?
No.
Looks, is it a Christmas haircut?
No, man. No, I just got good flow, buddy. I don't know what to tell you.
You're bringing back the mullet. I like it.
Anyways, it's kind of a faux thing. I don't want to go full mullet. Anyways, you guys should have switched seats. This is throwing me off because usually it's like a rotation. Because now when you leave after this hour, I will be going to sit at that desk to do the national hour.
Why'd you sit here?
But then then I feel like I'd be out of place sitting there. I've never sat there, so now we're gonna be doing musical chairs. I feel like it's off.
You can
I feel
do
like
it.
we got to figure it out.
I believe you.
You
know why we didn't change? Is because last time I sat there and Bunk lectured me about how that. What are you admitting that's the A chair seat?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
true. I did say that.
It worked.
I got in your head so bad.
Totally.
I totally messed up.
I'll
the
just
fun
keep
way
my
to show.
seat. Yeah, we're coming off a Toronto Maple Leafs 2-1 victory over the New York Islanders. And a bit of a different day today because we don't get you in here very often. We don't get you in here like this just about ever. Maybe once a year. I don't remember how often we did last year. But
I will say, it's really the best part about that win over the Islanders was that I never have to watch the Islanders again.
God,
That
tough,
is not
tough stretch of
and
hockey.
so that was 3 times in how many days?
3 times in a week and a half.
Yeah.
That is not an enjoyable watch. I don't think they suck as bad as their record does. They have some good players, but they are hard to watch.
Yeah. Everyone's okay. They're okay. Kyle Palmieri's fine. JG Pageau, okay.
I was just about them. Like, do you get 3 games of Brock Nelson?
Yeah.
Who's like one of the most
Yeah.
coveted
I know.
That's a
trade
great
targets in the
point.
Leaf.
And you're like, oh.
Well, it's not that I don't want him. Like, sure, he's better than the current
Pontus
options.
Holmberg
Yeah,
is your
like
next
there's no
choice.
doubt. And
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd be one of those candidates that comes to a different team and maybe he plays with Matthew Nyes and both guys start to play great and they have like a bit of an identity line.
Yeah.
But I never left one of those 3 games going like,
Brock Nelson.
God, I'd kill for that guy.
You know, the Leafs have a lot of guys that are shooters, and they
Yeah.
like to score. Robertson loves to score. Matthews loves to score. Nylander score.
He should
Tavares
do it more
score.
if he loves it so much.
Nice score. But they have guys who are just like, they want to be the puck net shooter guy.
Mhm.
Brock Nelson's kind of that too. He's another 36 goal, 20 assist net front.
Wow, you're doing like the basketball thing of like there's only one ball.
It's just,
Like
yeah.
this James Harden and Russell Westbrook can't coexist because there's only one basketball.
Well, you know,
how
and
much of
it's
this
actually a
audience
Kip
knows
take.
what I'm talking about?
It's actually a Kip take that the team doesn't pass the puck all that
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I
true.
don't know that Nelson's going to be another guy who suddenly they're zipping around the ozone. It's another, if I get it, like last game, he actually had a guy back door, and Nelson was like, no, me. I'm going to jam this into the goalie's pad. So, yeah.
And he you're gonna say Easton
Ooh.
County. Yeah. Anyways,
Oh,
he
I didn't
joined-
even mention that.
and Brock Nelson also, with golf season starting up, Scotty Scheffler not taking part in the Century because he cut his hand on Christmas Day. But
Trevor Bauer.
Brock Nelson, second in the world in America face to Scotty Scheffler. Like there's been
America.
Yeah, he has big
Brock,
America
Brock
face.
Nelson has the most American face I think I've
Yeah.
ever seen in my life. Like it's just he looks
Yeah.
so American. So yeah, I think I came away from those games.
Is this like a reason not to get him?
No,
is this what we're doing?
no. I'm just saying.
He's like,
We got
hey,
Nyes,
he doesn't
Matthews.
pass the puck and fit well with the
He's
scheme of the
like-
team. And Sam's like, he also has a face that looks like an American guy. Here. Yeah,
We
no.
have 2
yeah.
reasons not to acquire this man.
I'm sure Tree Living brought that up where he's bringing all the AGMs and they're sitting
Where
around
do
the
you
table.
stand on
Like, listen, it's
America
going to
face?
cost us minted in a first, boy, but he does have a face of an American guy.
he's very, very American looking guy. That's
Yeah.
all I have to say.
So another thing did happen last night that you alluded to there. You guys follow it closer than I do, but Team Canada suffered a crushing defeat. And so we had it on last night. I did the game, so I was focused on the Leafs. So we had it on in the room. I was aware of when they scored, when they tied it, when it slipped away. I guess we should probably address that, right? Before we do Leafs. Where do we stand on this Canadian team and what happened?
Where would you like to begin? From the greater picture or the Leafs picture? Because I think they're 2 different conversations. One's in
I
Easton
think
Town.
greater, and we're going to get into
Yeah.
leafier stuff, but just, boy, what happened?
So I think that right now we're in the midst of the blame game, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a junior hockey analyst. Like, I cover all sports on my pod. I do Leafs talk. It doesn't fit into my sports diet, like being able to watch a lot of junior hockey.
Yeah.
Like, I've gone to one game this year. It was with Sam in Oshawa, and we watched the team without Seneca. Like, it's just like,
we watched the amazing pick Ben Danford just light it up in that game. That must have been his worst game of the year.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, he was like fell
Yeah,
down
hope
3
so.
times. I really hope. Anyways.
well, it also wasn't great that they decided to go with like the shutdown defenseman group and the character group, and he was not on the list of said guys when he's already been drafted. I thought that was a bit of an indictment of the pick. Anyways, I think that everybody right now is trying to point fingers, and we do the thing, and I think part of it is right to say, hey, let's not blame the kids too much, because what those guys are dealing with right now, especially that age group that is probably perpetually on their phone, that understands the world far greater through the lens of social media than the one that, say, we grew up in, and that we, I think, are a little bit more easily separated from. Like, we've got experiences of life without social media. We know that it isn't the be-all, end-all, that it isn't reality. We're able to, you step in at the end of your day, and you might have had a bad day on Twitter where people came at you, but ultimately you're going to sit around the kitchen table with your wife and your 2 kids and be able to separate yourself from that. I think that a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old right now whose whole reality is like this tournament and getting their self-worth so much from their ability as a hockey player, that when they look at and they open up an app on their phone and they see thousands of comments that are just about them personally, right, that it's difficult. And so I think, like most people, I try to trend towards the builders of the team rather than the team itself. I don't judge them quite like I would, say, the Maple Leafs.
I think you speak more generally about the team as opposed to like the specific players.
Yeah, but
right?
I also don't want to absolve them of all responsibility when they are the actual guys that were on the ice. It's like, how are we
being
meant?
evaluated for $1 million deals?
Yeah,
at
and some of them have already been drafted, and like Easton Cowan, for example, like I've got thoughts on him, and I don't think that they're unfair. I think that you've got to find that sort of right line with the criticism. But to me, it's like, we're already having these big conversations about hockey in this country, and we have been for quite some time. And this started, I would say, probably a lot more during the pandemic when we were looking at the just lack of minority players in hockey. And we were having conversations like, hey, how come it's like really one of the only professional sports that's like completely dominated by white guys? And so we're like, okay, let's dig in on this a little bit. And we got to hear from other voices, and we started to really think about like how to make this more of an inner city sport rather than just one that lives in the suburbs, and what the future of Canada hockey looks like. And lately, I think it's been trending now more so with like the goaltending conversation. Like, why aren't we developing goalies? Why is it that we're trying to track how the Americans are doing it and sort of following their lead? And what is becoming apparent and what is difficult and what is embodied by the loss in this tournament, again, not just a one-off quarterfinal loss.
Yeah.
Like their second one in a row, which hasn't happened since 1981 when there was West Germany. Okay? So
It's been a minute.
it's kind of an important contextual point here with all of this, is that I think a lot of Canadians who really love this sport are not just looking at it through the lens of like, oh, these kids choked and the moment was too big for them. It was like, oh, or the coach was bad, or hey, the general manager picked the wrong guys. Those are all layers to the conversation. But to me, the more fascinating one is like, what are we doing to ensure that this remains a part of the Canadian national identity? Because we are the underdogs in every sport we play. There's no sport. We go to play soccer, and we might be playing great in North America, and we could beat the United States, once in, 40 years that we're the top dog in the cycle, right? But we go internationally to a World Cup, and we see where we stand amongst the rest of the world, where it's like Croatia goes, are you serious? Thought you were going to win this game against
one of my
us?
greatest bets of all time was Croatia plus money in that game.
Yeah.
It was
Like-
the most insane thing ever.
But
anyways,
the one thing with Canadian national identity is that it's like hockey is our game.
yes.
It is the one that we will, for the most part, rally around the television about.
So you're asking,
Leafs all in on center hunt. Treliving's bold moves could shape Toronto's future. As a die-hard Toronto Maple Leaf supporter, it's hard not to get excited about the latest trade buzz surrounding the team. Brad Treliving, the Leafs general manager, appears poised to make some daring moves to strengthen the squad's depth down the middle. The whispers of significant trades are growing louder, and Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet has added fuel to the fire with his recent revelations. The situation has become even more pressing as the Leafs grapple with the ongoing upper body injury to team captain Austin Matthews. Matthews has already missed the last 4 games, and while the team is doing its best to stay afloat, the need for reinforcements at center is undeniable. Treliving, it seems, is ready to part with valuable assets to address this glaring need. The centers on Treliving's radar. Names like Jake Evans from the Montreal Canadiens, Brock Nelson from the New York Islanders, and the Philadelphia Flyers' Morgan Frost have been mentioned as potential targets. These players bring a mix of experience and skill, each offering something unique to the Leafs lineup. But, as Friedman highlighted during his appearance on the Fan 590's The Fan Hockey Show, the price tags for these players vary significantly. That's the number one thing he's, Treliving, been looking at all season, Friedman noted, emphasizing the GM's focus on finding the right fit at center. This isn't just about plugging a hole, it's about finding a player who can elevate the team to new heights. Priorities in focus. While some fans might argue that the Leafs need help on defense, Friedman suggested that Treliving's primary focus is elsewhere. They did a lot of their work in the off-season. I think now there's a question if they need to go find someone to play with Morgan Rielly, he explained. But, it's not their number one priority. I believe their number one thing all season has been, let's find another center. This clear focus on center depth speaks volumes about Treliving's strategy. The Leafs are willing to pay a hefty price, but there's a caveat: the player must come with term. Why term matters? The preference for term isn't just a strategic move, it's a sign that Treliving is thinking long-term. Rentals can be tempting, especially for a team looking to make a deep playoff run, but they often come with risks. One of the things I've heard is that if they're going to spend assets on a center, they would prefer it to be someone with term, Friedman revealed. This approach ensures that any trade made benefits the Leafs beyond the immediate future. Internal struggles and potential fits. Internally, the Leafs have tried to find solutions. Fraser Minton showed promise earlier this season, but the organization prefers to let him develop further with the Marlies. Meanwhile, the Leafs' current lineup has struggled to maintain its depth in Matthews' absence. One intriguing option could be Vincent Trocheck from the New York Rangers. With the Rangers facing their own challenges, could they be persuaded to part with a player like Trocheck, who already has chemistry with Leaf stars from last year's All-Star game? The road ahead. As the calendar flips to 2025, the trade deadline looms larger. Treliving's actions in the coming months will undoubtedly shape the Leafs' playoff aspirations and potentially their long-term future. For Leafs fans, the anticipation is palpable. Every move, every rumor, and every game feels like a piece of the puzzle. Treliving's willingness to swing for the fences shows a commitment to bringing a championship to Toronto, a dream that has eluded the franchise for far too long. Why this matters? This isn't just another season. This is a chance for the Leafs to solidify their identity as a contender. With Matthews expected to return and the possibility of a major trade to bolster the lineup, the team is poised to make a statement. Treliving's boldness, combined with the team's potential, makes it an exhilarating time to be a Leafs fan. Whether it's Evans, Nelson, Frost, or another unexpected addition, one thing is clear: the Leafs are in it to win it. So, buckle up, Leafs Nation. The journey ahead promises to be as thrilling as it is unpredictable. Treliving's moves could define the legacy of this team, and, hopefully, end the championship drought that has haunted Toronto for decades. The weight of expectations. The Leafs are no strangers to the pressure of the spotlight. Toronto is a hockey city, and the Maple Leafs are its beating heart. Every move made by management is scrutinized, every decision debated endlessly by fans and analysts alike. Treliving stepped into a challenging role when he took over as GM, and his willingness to take bold steps shows he understands the weight of these expectations. What makes this moment particularly critical is the team's current window of contention. With stars like Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander in their prime, the Leafs are in win-now mode. The front office knows that wasting even a single season could have long-term repercussions. Austin Matthews, the catalyst. Matthews' injury has highlighted just how crucial he is to the team's success. While his absence has been manageable in short bursts, it's clear that the Leafs' center depth isn't built to withstand prolonged stretches without their captain. This has amplified the urgency to bring in another center who can contribute immediately and lessen the load on Matthews when he returns. The captain's recovery timeline is still uncertain, but Treliving's proactive approach suggests the team isn't willing to gamble on waiting too long. The goal is clear: solidify the lineup so that when Matthews is back, the Leafs are firing on all cylinders. The cost of boldness. The term significant assets isn't used lightly. Whether it's high draft picks, promising prospects, or even current roster players, Treliving is signaling that no stone will be left unturned. The Leafs' prospect pool is respectable but not overflowing, meaning any trade will have to be meticulously calculated. There's also the financial aspect. The Leafs are a team that operates near the salary cap, so any addition will require shrewd cap management. Could Treliving pull off a move that strengthens the roster without hamstringing the team's flexibility? If he does, it would be nothing short of a masterstroke. The fan base's role. Leafs Nation, passionate as ever, has already begun dissecting potential trade scenarios. Social media is abuzz with debates about who should be targeted and what assets should be sacrificed. Fans understand the stakes, and there's a growing sense of anticipation, bordering on impatience, for Treliving to make his move. It's a delicate balance for the GM. While fans demand immediate results, he must ensure that any deal aligns with a long-term vision of sustained success. The pressure to deliver is immense, but so is the potential reward. Comparisons to past GMs. Treliving's approach invites comparisons to his predecessors. Some GMs were criticized for being too conservative, while others were seen as overly aggressive. Treliving, however, seems to have struck a balance. He's willing to take risks, but only if they make sense for the team's broader goals. This calculated boldness is exactly what the Leafs need in this pivotal moment. If Treliving can pull off a game-changing trade, he could cement his place as one of the most effective GMs in recent Leafs history. The trade deadline looms. The NHL trade deadline is one of the most exciting times of the year, and this season promises to be no exception. With the Leafs actively shopping for a center, every rumor and report will be magnified. Other teams are watching closely, too, as any move by Toronto could shift the balance of power in the league. It's not just about who the Leafs acquire, it's about what message the move sends. A major trade would signal to the league, and to their own players, that Toronto is all in. That kind of confidence can be infectious, sparking a surge of momentum heading into the playoffs. Lessons from the past. Leafs fans have seen their fair share of trade deadline moves over the years, some more successful than others. From acquiring veterans to bolster playoff runs to making unexpected gambles, the franchise's history offers lessons for Treliving. The key will be avoiding the pitfalls of overpaying for short-term fixes while maximizing the impact of any new additions. The future of Fraser Minten. One of the most intriguing subplots is the development of Fraser Minten. The young center has shown flashes of brilliance but remains a work in progress.